Hello, we're back for part 2. I want to hit about 15 minutes of this because I don't have that much space. So what I want to talk about in this is the fact that each issue that each individual had in the plane that needed assistance, okay? And the importance of each of those critical issues, okay? Number one, the first individual was a co-pilot. He was having something going on with his heart, okay? I don't know whether he had shrapnel. I don't know what it was, but it was something specifically that he needed assistance. I don't know why I keep doing that. And I'm not going to cut it out again. He needed assistance with his heart. Number two, there was a man that was on the back row that could not breathe. He was dealing with something attempting to take away his ability to breathe in his esophagus, causing his throat to swell. Number three, the individual, it was a young girl who was on the plane that when the plane's roof got the shrapnel in it, a piece of the metal hit her leg. And this little girl now needed something to pull what was causing the circulation to be cut off and be dealt with. And there was another issue that I cannot think of off the top of my head. I had it in my mind, but I forgot what it was. Let's just deal with these three. If I remember before the end of this, we'll discuss it. Number one, the first issue. The man, I'm going to deal with the man that had the issue with his throat. Do you see the reflection right here? Some of your spouses have been wanting to speak, but could not get the words out their throat. God gave me a very direct dream that showed me my spouse wanting to talk. His throat wasn't swollen. It was actually that it was like he himself was resisting being able to speak, only for me to get a physical confirmation not days ago of an image of my spouse with the words, "Try to keep me quiet." Now, the actual people that were on the phone, the 911 operators and ones that they had from her team that they were on the phone with, they had to they were saying, we need you to get the airway clear. Because see, what was happening is the guy had something going on with the throat situation, that he was suffocating on something. And he needed to get that out. But they needed to find out what was causing the swelling in the first place. So they like, does anybody on the plane have an EpiPen? I think it was like an EpiPen, and then they also needed an EpiPen for it was a blade inside of the EpiPen that could cut it open. Secondarily, they needed like the embarrassing part was a Viagra pill. Okay. Somebody had to openly talk about and say they had a Viagra pill. So they needed a Viagra pill because with the Viagra pill and the cutting it open, it was going to actually cause shrinkage. It was either going to cause shrinkage or something to cause that thing to open up, so that what was causing the guy to be unable to breathe, he would now be able to speak. So they were able to get that. In some cases, what's necessary for your spouse to speak is there's a prophetic witness that needs to speak into their life in order to give them the instructions on how to get them out of that situation and around what's preventing them from speaking. I already said in some cases they've been manipulated, extorted, character assassinated. They've been trying to keep them quiet with a series of things that have been surrounding them. Okay? That's what it is. And they need something to what? Open up the airway, open up the oxygen way. I remember Trust and Obedience Ministries did a word a couple, years back, where she talked about the jaw. When I always know that my wants to speak because I get jaw pain, weird gastric jaw pain. These men be wanting to say something, but the enemy is attempting to keep them quiet, but we can feel they want to speak. Okay? I used to like my TV show Buffy. I can't go deep into it, but she used to always know when this man, her man, was the one that was either he was around, he ain't never had to say nothing to her. She knew he was there because she could sense him. There's certain things that you can sense as the kingdom spouse that other people can't recognize, right? And they've been trying to suffocate, stop, or use witchcraft to keep their mouth shut. Okay, that's the first thing. Now we're gonna move to the second ailment. Okay, the second ailment was this young girl who was going for a soccer meeting or soccer practice, and it was her and the entire team on the flight, and she got the shrapnel in her leg. When you think about shrapnel, it's something that has cut the leg or cut whatever area open. Therefore, they got to get the potential of infection, so on and so forth. The swelling is caused because there's obviously something in there that needs to come out. Leg. What is a leg important to do? Walk. And leg is important to do what? Keep you mobile. The enemy has been attempting to keep you from moving, coming back to 944, to be able to produce, to be able to move. Some of you are in isolated seasons that actually isn't God's causing. It actually is the enemy trying to prevent you from moving into the places and spaces that God has already told you you're supposed to come into. But the enemy doesn't want you to get there. So he's trying to manipulate, cause situations surrounding you to prevent you from being able to move. I actually have a previous leg injury that causes, and I always know something's going on in the spirit realm because my foot operates pretty well on most days. Now, one might say, oh, you just have arthritis. I know when it's spiritual because I have even a friend of mine was telling me this when this happened to me some years back, that I was out walking and my foot literally came out from under it. Something recently happened the same way. And I was like, what in the world? It's like they want to take you off your feet, coming back to the plane and it not being able to lift, oppression, unable to move, inability to keep you from moving forward. So they have attempted to cause external issues. Her leg was contaminated, which then therefore caused swelling. In some cases, they've attempted to create pressure, which it's pressure that causes your leg to swell up, to keep you from being able to what? Get out of that situation, trying to hold you within a situation, to keep you isolated. Yes, God will put you in a holding pattern that will prevent you from moving, but in some cases, it's the enemy that's trying to keep you where you are and prevent you from being able to lead. Coming back to the fact that even my pastor was talking about a couple broadcasts back where she was saying that, the enemy will try to prevent you from being able to leave the season that you're in because it's unbeneficial if you actually are able to leave that season, if it's going to affect him if you leave. So he will try to throw in roadblocks, stumbling blocks. Literally, there are people that will specifically, their assignment is to prevent you from being able to get to where you've got to go. And when you finally get there, you'll be able to understand why they attempted to prevent you from being able to reach your destination. Okay? So they don't want you to actually get where you're going, so they have attempted to stop you. They needed to cut the young woman's leg open in order to find, to drain off some of that liquid, because it's actually liquid pus and some other things. In some cases, and the Lord's giving me this now, is contamination. The enemy wants to contaminate the area in which prevents you from being able to, and God's, oh, he's just revealing me this now. These things were in order to hinder your ability to move forward, walk forward, or be able to operate. Oh God, you so in this. That and defile. Because if your leg is infected, then you're unable to be able to move forward the way in which you're supposed to, and you are what? Stuck, stagnant, forestalled, prevented from being able to move, right? So they had to get that out of there and clean the area in order to seal and close that area back up. Using gauze, using other accoutrements. They had to go MacGyver on it real quick because they had to close the area using the skin to close it up, and then to suture, and then pretty much get that skin to hold itself shut and rewrap it. But they released the pressure. They needed to do at least that much. And if they, in the case that they may need to reopen it, so they just closed it over because they may needed to have gone back in and redrain it, right? Okay. And it's key. Sometimes what the enemy is trying to do is flood the area. Revelations 12, it talks about how when the woman was trying to leave that situation, she had to be forced into isolation, not once, but twice. And then when she tried to come out the last time, the enemy tried to flood. Some of you have been dealing with a season of flood of issues in order to bring forth a level of turbulence in order to prevent you from being able to move forward in this time and in this season. You know what I'm saying? So God's wanting to bless you in this season, but all of this stuff was being brought in. God's got to come in and clean house. That's what my pastor was talking about recently. So to clean house, clean up, and make sure that your path is cleared out. But anything coming up against your health, much like this young woman and her leg, needed to be taken care of. Illness is a sin of the curse of the law. We live by grace. And one of the attacks, if the enemy can't get you to stop moving, he will attempt to come up against you. Like I said, I dealt with issues with my foot. It's a representation of the enemy not wanting you to be able to what? Move forward. Okay? And lastly, I'm going to get into this, but I'm going to save the fierce the resistance towards the end, okay? This issue was the man that was the co-pilot. He needed resuscitation. They needed to do something to his heart that was going to cause for him to get continual palpitation, meaning they needed to keep massaging his heart to be able to maintain. So they used a medic system to get his heart jump started again because it had actually stopped. Some of you are in relationships with people that their relationship with God is very minimal. They don't have it. It's not good, so on and so forth. And if it wasn't for the fact that they were connected to you, they wouldn't have no relationship with God. Okay? And you are the one that is spiritually resuscitating them continually, trying to maintain the palpitation so that they can maintain assistance. In some of your cases, you were actually about to be removed from the responsibility of having to do that. Okay? But until then, you have to keep resuscitating them spiritually and keeping doing palpitations because of the fact of the matter that you're the one that is where they have a stony heart, a hardened heart, something going on with their heart. You have to keep giving them the spiritual infusion of the blood of Jesus, that the joy of the Lord that is their strength, so on and so. You got to keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it in order for it to be maintained. That